Back on the show here with Kevin McPherson, and we're catching up with our Hogville.net Hog Hoops Insider as always. Now, Kevin, let's talk about the fact that there's a lot of movement right now. You're talking about the NCAA transfer portal, and interesting because you go to the mid-major level, and when you talk about University of Evansville, it's a program I used to cover. Interesting that DeAndre Williams has the Hogs in his Final Four, so let's kind of start with that.
Yeah, now he's a 6'9", versatile forward, really. He's also, Drew, declared for the NBA draft. So this is an interesting one. We see players do that. Jimmy Witt did that. He was in the draft portal. He also obviously ended up being a grad transfer and playing another season at Arkansas. Had a great year doing it. We'll see if DeAndre Williams wants to be that next guy. But, a 6'9" versatile forward. He's a sophomore transferred. He had an injury this past season, only played in 18 games. But, man, his numbers are solid. 15 points per game, 7 rebounds, almost 3 assists. So he did a little bit of everything. When you talk about his Final Four, he just put that out today. Arkansas is on that list, Kentucky, Baylor, and Memphis. So that's a pretty strong list, and Arkansas is in good company there. I think, and what I'm hearing is he may make an announcement sometime this week. So definitely one to keep an eye on is DeAndre Williams.
Okay, moving forward, 2020 now. Frank Anselm, he has the Hogs in his Final Six. Now, how's that looking right now with Frank?
Well, that's an interesting situation. Arkansas actually offered him back in August when he was class of 2021. And he then reclassified in mid-April to 2020. There was a lot of talk he might do that. So just a few weeks ago, he reclassed to 2020, and he had a Final Three that was Alabama, Georgia, and LSU, 3 SEC schools. He quickly turned around and reopened his recruitment. None of those 3 teams are on his Final Six, but Arkansas is. And he just did a virtual tour with head coach Eric Musselman and assistant Clay Moser. So that just happened last week. He's down to a Final Six. Obviously, Arkansas and Kentucky are in there. Seton Hall, Syracuse, Western Kentucky, and San Diego State. So another who's who list of good college basketball programs. But Frank Anselm would be, he was in 2021 ranked top 50 4-star. Now that he's reclassed, he's just outside the top 100, but still a 4-star. Let's assume that it works out for Arkansas or it goes that way. If it did, I'm not assuming that it will. But if it does work out that way, that'll be the 5th 4-star prospect in this high school signing class for 2020 that ESPN right now has ranked 5th in the country. So it could possibly get even better.
Jonathan Lawson, now you look at this guy, he's out of Memphis and comes from a big basketball background. So let's kind of start there. But Lawson's somebody who had a virtual tour with Muss and staff, but what would Lawson bring? He seems like he's a highly ranked kid, clearly.
Well, he reminds me, I've seen him play 3 or 4 times in person this past season, and he reminds me of former Razorback great, the school's all-time leading scorer, Todd Day. Coincidentally, Todd, we know, is from Memphis, but played with Lawson's dad in high school at Memphis Hamilton. So there's connections and ties there. But Lawson's the 4th brother. The 2 oldest brothers, KJ and Dedrick, started out at Memphis. They ended up at Kansas. Chandler, who's the 3rd oldest brother, had his freshman season just this past season at Oregon. So this is a basketball family to be certain. But Jonathan is a very skilled 6'6" wing. Again, I say he reminds me of Todd Day because he's got can put the ball on the deck and create for himself, for others, can score at all 3 levels. Just a smooth, skilled player. And he was the Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year as a junior, averaged 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. That's not easy to do playing in Memphis, playing at that level of high school basketball. And he did it as a junior. So this is a big-time player that Arkansas just offered this past week. Musselman also did a virtual tour with him. And he told me that Arkansas is one of the 5 schools right now that's recruiting him the hardest. And that he looks to sign in the early period, which is in mid-November. So this is an outstanding player and one to definitely keep an eye on as Arkansas moves forward with its 2021 recruiting.
Jersey Wolfenbarger, what a get for Mike Neighbors' program. 5-star out of Fort Smith Northside, Gatorade Player of the Year. Jersey just has that smile, that energy. It was really infectious for her team. And during the interview we had with Jersey this past week, but she decided on Arkansas and chose Arkansas over the likes of, you name it. It's a who's who. Notre Dame, Connecticut, the list goes on and on. So Jersey making that decision, the impact for Arkansas, Kevin.
It's huge. Mike Neighbors is building definitely a top 25 program. We saw that his team finished 24th in the nation this year. Obviously, the season abbreviated. We didn't know what they were going to do in the NCAA tournament, but they had a good run at the SEC tournament. And again, 24 wins, and you add a player like Jersey Wolfenbarger to what he's trying to build. This is a top 25 star. But I've seen her play since she was a freshman. She's grown 11 inches from 5'6" to 6'5". She has got a do-it-all combo guard, an unselfish player, a clutch player, and this is the kind of player that you can take your program to the next level and build it to possibly a top 10 program. We don't want to jump ahead of ourselves, but I think that this is the kind of player that helps you move that needle in that direction, Drew.
Great stuff as always. Hogville.net for much more from Kevin McPherson. Kevin, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Good to be with you guys.
All right, back with more after this.